Hello everyone, I am here to give you instructions on your project, your Fractal project. This one happens to be the tree option, and we went over it in the last video. You're going to be waiting for feedback from me after you turn in your project planner that has all the information so that I can give you feedback as to what might be helpful to know before you get started, whether you're on the right track with your project, whether you have ideas that are really kind of new and different, and that's exciting, and how to help you make sure that works. On your tree options, there are 4 different ones. We're going to quickly go over how to go ahead and get started. The main thing that I want you to know before you begin is the type of paper that you use. And I want to look at the copy paper as opposed to drawing paper. First of all, the copy paper is smaller than the drawing paper, and that's an easy one to tell right away. The color is slightly different, but that's possibly due to the different reasons why these papers exist. Copy paper is made so it can go through a printer, and it will, many pages can be stapled together, and it's not bulky. So it is made thin. I think you can see right through the paper here, and it is very thin. Listen to the quality there. Then you look at the heavy drawing paper, and it is thick. It has a whole different sound, and when you try to see through it, you can't really see through it like you can with copy paper. So it is a much heavier weight paper. It will stand up to all different kinds of mediums. The colored pencils work well on it. Watercolor works well on it, oil pastels. But on this, you're going to have a lot of warping, and you're going to have a lot of problems with it. So please don't use copy paper for this assignment or any assignment that I give you, unless it's just a free sketch or a planning sketch. So with your paper, you're going to get started on your project, and the first thing you're going to need is a pencil. And if you draw lightly, then, and that means with less pressure, then you can always erase easier. If you're drawing heavy and dark with dark lines, then it's more difficult to erase if you have to change something. So here's a dark line, and here is a light sketchy line. Notice the difference in how I made it go. And you can barely see this, but you can always make it darker. You can really see this, but you can't get rid of it. It creates ghost lines that don't ever go away. This one I can totally get rid of, and we would never know that it was drawn on. So make sure that you use light lines to do your drawing. When you get started, the different options here, this particular option starts a little ways up the page, probably about a third. If you think about dividing it into 3 parts, it's probably a third of the way up the page. These start at the very bottom of the page, and so it really doesn't matter where you start your tree on any of these. In fact, you can use the third on this one, or you can use all the way to the bottom on this one. So that's not important. It's totally up to your choice, and I don't want you to feel like you have to stick with what these examples show you where to start with your tree. I do want a full tree when you get done. So that means this is the least amount of branches that I think that you would be able to say that you have a full tree. In fact, this one looks like it could use more branches. That is part of your grade. If it's not a full tree, if it's just a few branches, then your grade will be lower. If you have great branches and the tree looks very real, then you will probably get the most points. So we're going to get started by looking at this version right here, which is the pixelated version. And I have a drawing that was started and is a little further along. This person has started their tree about a third of the way up or a quarter of the way up the page, and then has their branches already started. As you can see, the branches aren't finished. There's still quite a bit more of the tree that needs to be grown on the ends of the branches. Remember to grow your branches evenly, because otherwise they'll start to curl around. And sometimes you want them to do that. If you want that to happen, that's great. Just make it look like you planned it that way. Because that's what makes a piece of artwork look like it was definitely intended to be that way. Then you're going to take your ruler, and to make the pixelated version, you'll just draw lines the width of the ruler, which makes it very easy. You don't have to measure anything. And then you're going to go lines the width of the ruler this way. Just remember, anytime you're using a ruler, spread out your fingers as you're drawing any line so that it doesn't pivot on one finger. You won't be able to draw a straight line. It'll go wonky on you. Then you're going to go all the way down the paper. And remember that when you are doing the background, it should be either warm or cool colors. And then this portion right in here should be the opposite. And it'll change wherever that line happens. Also remember that the same color cannot touch. So if you have, say, green here, you can't have green in all of these spaces that are right next to it, but you could have that same green in a diagonal corner touching space. But it shouldn't touch along a side for any of the spaces that you do. So let's look at the next, another different kind of project. This one, this person started their tree at the bottom, and they have really full branches. They used a lid or some type of a container, round something, to draw that circle. That circle could go down here. It could go over here. It could go lots of different places on the paper. It does not have to go in the center upper part. Also remember that your colors need to stay within the warm and cool color composition. And in this case, everything works except for this magenta. It should either be purple or it should be another blue or something. You can do designs in your tree. These are called Zentangle designs. You can do like a bark design or any other type of pattern you like in your tree for that one. This one, they started up about a third or a quarter of the page, and there's just lots of swirls or curlicues throughout the page with different ways that it can be made to happen. You can make this your own and give it a different theme. This looks like a nighttime theme. Just remember, warm colors one place, cool colors for the rest of the painting or the artwork. This one right here has done the warm colors in here. Purple is the only exception, and the cool colors on the outside. Notice that their branches end at the circle, which is kind of a cool idea. Notice they also have kind of bark-like lines in the center that follow the pixelated version. And here's the pixelated version again on the back. Just make sure things that you need to keep in mind. Draw lightly in pencil to begin. And then make sure that your tree fills up most of the paper. Make sure that your branches make the tree look full and well done. And then make sure that you have done the warm and cool color composition so that you can make sure that you followed the rules of the paper. Also, you can use Sharpies. You can use anything you would like to make this your own project. Have fun. Make sure you email me with any questions.